2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
This is your host, Dustin. I am going to be your artist for today. And today is going to be a little bit different. We're just going to get right into here. I have, again, $2 paints, $2 brush, acrylic paint, buy at your local dollar store. Whatever you need, make it happen, just so you can paint. So I'm going to start out today with, I want to do kind of a little bit of a stormy sky. So I want to go to a little bit of pink and a little bit of purple together. I might have to go really light, I'm not sure. And I want the storm to kind of come this way. Hope you can see that. I want to make sure everybody can see just fine. It's an old painting that I did a long time ago. And I want to see if I can bring it back to life. I really love this one, and I gave it to a friend, and I have no regrets. That is for sure. And it's just of a storm with a little bit of lightning in the background, a couple stormy clouds here. And, well, these clouds are going to have some lightning come from them. I might have to bring in just a little bit of yellow into that. A little bit of storm. Yeah, there we go. There we go. A little bit of sunset in that storm. We'll just pretend there's something on the horizon there that's going to make it nice and light. Again, I'm just going to bring it across a little bit, not too far, because I want to make a storm front, kind of like a, you know, that big cloud that kind of goes in front of the storm, or that really wild storm sits behind the tornado or whatever it is. And then I'm just going to bring in some little white pattern, just kind of wave it out a little bit. Just marbling it up. Oh, I got some blue in there. Let's see what that does. People might think, oh, you ruined the painting. You ruined it already. Well, did we? That's the real question. Did we? Look, even brought it in again for some reason. I don't know where that blue ink came from. Who knows? What I do know is a little more of that yellow. And we can kind of fill that up again. I'm not going to go down, well, I got to go down a little ways here. I'm going to paint it till it dries. I want it to dry nice. Yeah, that looks good. A little bit more white in there. Just to marble up a few areas. Look at that. How's that so far? Not bad. All right, now we're going to hit up that front. Yeah, I see where that little blue squirted over there, and kind of hit in with that white. I'm going to soften that right up. I want that sunset on that little edge just soft. Just soft. Pull down a little more white in through here. Now, here's the deal. If you're pulling down some white in through here, and it's just maybe you feel your paint has dried too much, as I always say, pull in some of that water, and it'll just soften that up. And it'll make it so that acrylic, because acrylic dries really fast, especially compared to oil. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. So I'm going to put a little bit of paint back here. The middle's kind of where I'm going to aim to get this coming from. This is going to be like the peak of that little storm. It's going to be a little bit darker up in there. A little bit of purple. Pink together. Yeah. Now, the reason why I'm leaving this open is I'm gonna bring some white in there and kind of mix it and make it look like a little bit of a front of that cloud system. This is gonna be one of those, you know, Saskatchewan, man, excuse me, when I first moved out, I'm not ashamed to say it, I'm from BC originally, so when I first moved out, I had no desire to come to Saskatchewan. And I remember way back in Social Studies 8, we did a course on agriculture. And I said to myself, why in the world would anybody live in Saskatchewan? It's such a boring, flat, plain place. And boy, was I wrong. I love Saskatchewan, especially now that I live out here. Been here for over 20, probably, man, almost 23 years now. Now I'm just dipping a little bit of black into my purple. I'm just gonna scrunch some clouds in there, just the dark part of that storm. And we're gonna pull that into some blue. And I'm gonna pull a little bit of the dark stuff over here. We're gonna slowly bring it together. It's okay. Like, have fun with it. Just let those swirls go. Do it all over. Kind of go back over that dark stuff a little bit, just so you can blend it a bit. Look at that. That's going to be a nice dark storm there. Nice dark storm. All right. I just want to clean my brush a bit because I want to get into the lighter color, right? And in order to get into the lighter color, I have to have that clean brush, pure white. Now, I might end up tapping in a little bit of a pink or something, but I'm just going to throw in some white swirls here. Now, I could again wait till it's completely dry and go in, and that white would stand out on top of that. Really good. But I'm okay with what we got right now. I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. And while you're painting, just blend back into that other color just to make it feel like it's a part of the clouds that you got going on here. Just make it feel like it's a part of the clouds that you got going on. Now, I think I got to go down just a little bit further here. And I'm going to bring that ridge, bring it back here, and we'll pull it right out in here. Yeah, that's where we want it. Right out in here, we're going to do a nice little ledge. Okay. Again, blend it while it's still wet. Makes it easier. Pull those colors out right to that little edge, because we want that edge to pop the most, right? It's going to be lighter up front, obviously, but we want to be able to put pure white there, and it's just going to stand out like the sun's just hitting that area. And then we'll put our little bit of color in through here, just a little bit in there, right along that edge. Now I'm going to add that pink, purple, yellow, and a touch of white, because I got to bring that. I know I kind of maybe messed up on it a little bit, but I got to bring it a little further. I got to bring it a little further. And I do apologize if you hear some messages coming in. Sometimes use my phone as a reference for my old pictures that I have, just to make sure I'm kind of, you know, got a guideline there or something. A little bit of fluff in there. So what I want to make sure and do is just do this. We mute the old phone, just so it doesn't hinder anything that we're doing. Okay, so I like where I'm going. The reason why I did that is because I want to bring a little bit of landscape across there. I might even pull it up a little bit higher. Let's see, I might pull that up just a little bit higher. Yep. Gotta do it. Gots to do it. Gots to do it. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to pull it up a little bit higher so that when I do my landscape down here, it's going to be able to pop in there nicely, okay? So, it's looking cool so far. I really like where we're going with it. Just a little bit more over. And you know what? I'm going to add a little bit more pink. And I'm going to make it sit right on that horizon. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. I'm not going to wash my brush. I'm just going to dab it and get some of that excess paint on there. I'm going to go back into that purpley black. Reshape just a little bit of it. Reshape just a little bit of it. Now, we don't want to go too crazy because we got to leave some room back there for blue. Put a little bit of highlight in some areas over here. Right. Now, we want to make it look, so I'm going to add, oh yeah, that's an idea. I'm going to make another ledge back here, just like it's getting hit. I'm going to go back up. Just make sure you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to pull it up just a bit, just to make sure. I'm going to put a little ledge back here, a little ridge, and then even just a little bit of light on certain areas to make it look like the sun's hitting that. Sometimes a little cloud sneaking through or something like that. And then we want to add it to what we got going on here. So I'm going to have to go back in with that dark purple. Because you want to blend it together. That's key. Blend that together, see? If I didn't blend that together, it'd look like it's a weird shape just sitting there. That's not what we want. That is not what we want. All right, that one's going to sit right there. I like that. Maybe just a little bit of white in there, just a touch of white. Blend it in there, just like that. Back in that dark color, just a hint. I have to go a little bit darker. Oh, right there. Look at that, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I think we're okay there. It's gonna look all right. It's gonna look all right. Look at that. Even maybe just a touch. Ooh, I like those highlights. Just certain areas right along that ridge. Now you could go back in with a smaller brush. I'm using a big brush because I want to show you guys that I can do this with one brush pretty much. Except for when I get to some other details in there. Okay, now we really got to get fancy schmancy. Right? We have to change it up just a bit. We have to change it up just a little bit because we want to start adding that blue, right? So I'm going to wash out my brush. And again, the dark is going to be closer to this side, but I'm going to blend in a little bit of white and blue. Start with that in a few areas. See if I can just kind of get some concepts of where I want to go. Yeah. Okay, maybe dry my brush just a tad more. Feels like just a bit too much paint coming off there. Now I want to add a little bit of black to that blue. A little bit of black to that blue. I'm going to sneak it in some areas here. Just start shaping it out. Where we want our dark stuff. Okay, I'm okay with that there. Kind of maybe down in, yeah, we're going to pick our spots here now. We're going to pick our spots here now. I want to make sure, again, you can see that. Just want to make sure you can see it. Don't want you to miss anything on here. Where's my cameraman when I need him? I'm right here painting. That's where I am. Okay, let's get this in here. Again, I don't mind it mixing with that light blue. That's fine. We're getting all these colors just popping. Right? And then we'll go back in and reshape it with a lighter blue. Excuse me. All All right, maybe even a darker area right there. A little bit of blue, a little bit of black. Maybe this spot's really dark right here. Just like that. And maybe the last spot is right closest to that dark area right there. Kind of maybe bring it down. Maybe it just pops out under that cloud over here. Just a little bit over there. All right, now we'll start getting into a little bit lighter, just a little bit lighter stuff. Right? There we go. Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, I'm liking that. And a little bit here, down through here, and then we're going to hit the lighter stuff. I still want a little bit darker back here for a second. Just want to make sure it pops out, right? I'm going to have to touch that black and blue again one more time. Kind of fill that area in certain spots. Yes, sir. Looks good. Looks good. All right. Okay. Kind of like where that's going. I'm going to add a little bit more white now to it. Start laying in some lighter colors. Not very far down. I just want to slowly work our way to the light. Okay. Slowly work our way to the light. Look at that. Nice. All right. Very cool, very cool. Now, I almost want to do like a, well, one more ridge. Maybe with the softest touch of green in there. Softest touch of green. It's just going to be just a little bit hint of a lighter color. You know, inside some of those storm cells, when you look on the backside, you get into some wild greens. And you know that's not good. I've been in a few of those, and it is not good. That's when the cells pop down, tornadoes happen, right? And I've been in some tornado areas, and that's not fun to be in. One of the craziest ones for me was in St. Louis. I have a family member that lives there, and I used to go there every year. And when I got down there, the one time we were going to a baseball game, and we had heard there was a storm. And at the Cardinals game, we're like, oh, maybe it'll just pass by. And boy, were we wrong. We were watching on the big screen, waiting for it to pass by, waiting for it to pass by. And it had come up from Oklahoma. And it did not pass by. And what it did is it came and it caught the stadium. Well, it didn't quite hit the stadium, but it went just north. And they told us, get to your vehicles and get out of here now. So we got to our vehicles and we got, I'll tell you that. we got out of there right quick. All right, now what I got to do, and again, maybe I'll just use a different brush just to show you. I have this round brush. And that's really good for going in and just doing extra little touch-ups and highlights and stuff like that. Like maybe we want a bluish, a light blue, really light blue to kind of fill in some of these edges where we want some, make it look like it's hitting with light, right? Maybe here. Ooh, maybe we want the back side of that. A little bit of pink and purple. Maybe a touch of yellow. Nah, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Pink, purple, touch of yellow. White. We'll see what this creates. Maybe it's a nice little, looks like it. Yeah, maybe a little bit brighter than that even. Add just a little bit more white, a little bit more yellow, and just one more touch of pink. That yellow and pink kind of create an orange, kind of a peachy orange. There we go, that's what we want. Just making it look like some edges are just hit with that really nice color. And you don't hit every edge. Like, you just want to hit certain areas to make it look like the sun's popping on certain areas, right? Because there's just a little bit of light coming up through. Man, I'm telling you, the best is sunset, sunset, sunset. Well, even sunrise, I'm not going to lie. They're both fantastic, but man, those sunsets, especially in one of my favorite places, is, said it before and I'll say it again, is Hawaii. I absolutely love Hawaii. When you get hit with those sunsets, it's like the whole sky just turns to fire. It's like the whole sky just turns to fire and it just goes wild. And it's because it's not only the sky that gets hit, it reflects off the water, right? And so that reflection is just so bright. All right, we're just making it look like the sun is hitting that again, just a little bit more towards the peachy pink. It's just a little more realism in the color that should be hitting it, not necessarily white, especially if there's the color we have popping through, right? A couple little areas there, I might have to darken a few areas again. That's okay. That's okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're working our way. I think we've got a long way so far, so I'm not going to complain about that. And I think maybe instead of some of this white, yeah, I think I'm going to pull some purple and pink back into it. Soften this up with a purple instead of a white. Just a little bit better feel to the shadow, or to the highlights instead of so much white. Just a bit too strong. All right, I like that. I like that. Maybe down here on this corner, maybe even down here on this corner, we'll do a little bit more white in that to make it look like it's really hitting strong there. What color do we want? Yeah, maybe we'll do this. Because I like it more towards the pink side, and then I'm going to start just hit it with a little bit more white on that edge. Maybe I ought to go solid white just on that little edge. Just like it's just a certain little area there. Look at that. There we go. That's spread out a little bit better. Now, this back color here, I'm going to get back into it with the blue. I want to go back into blue with just a touch of black. We'll see how we want to spread that back into the picture a little bit. Spread this up just a little bit. And it's fun when you start putting all these colors together. There's so many different blues in here. So many different blues, and it just makes it just pop in some areas and just adds so much texture to it, right? And even though that's highlight, I'm going to just go over it and blend it down a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. So if you see like an area like that, and you feel like there's just a little bit too much white popping through, take a smaller brush and just swirl it in. Just do some swirls, and that'll kind of fill those little gaps. Just swirl it in. Or you can take a little bit of water on your brush, and that should make it pop a little bit. Yeah, I think instead of white there, I think that blue looks a little bit better. All right. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Swirl, swirl, swirl. We're mixing in clouds, so they gotta swirl, right? All right, I like what we got going on here. I like what we got going on here. Yeah, just don't make it all the same. Change some stuff up. All right. I want to make that little area pop, I think. Yeah, just a little bit of. Sounds like the light sneaking in one color, one area. But looks nice, looks dark. I might actually pull that color over just a little bit there on the bottom. I might sneak it up right up against here. Yeah, I was gonna do it really dark back there, but I might do a little bit dark back there. There we go. Just like that. I think that's better. I'm okay with that. There we go. I'm okay with that. Touch that pink. It's okay with the blue in there because what the blue does, it just helps kind of blend it together. And I think on that bottom ridge, I'm going to wash this brush one more time. I'm just going to add a little bit more. I think we're pretty close to done with the clouds. I'm okay with that. I think it's looking okay. A little bit more white. A little bit of peachy. Just like there's just a little bit of light there. There we go. Maybe this area has a little bit of light. Right? Maybe there's a little bit of peachy color in here. Right? Maybe you need a little bit more white for, not necessarily white, but boom. There we go. That's more of a peach. All right, I think we're okay for that. I like that. So now what we're going to do is I want to do some land. So we're going to wash our brush really good. It's key to everything, you guys. It's washing your brush really good. Washing your brush really, really good. Drying it really good. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. So I'm going to take a little bit of black and a little bit of green, and I'm going to make a dark, dark green, okay? Just a dark, dark green. I don't want pure black. A couple greens in there maybe that I have on my plate. Just a nice dark, dark olive green. And I think we're just going to put a little bit of just a little bit of a landscape. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop it. Right. I got something I want to put in this area that I want to stand out. So I'm just going to put some little hillies back there. Now I'm going to pull it down far enough because I want to put a little bit of water there. I think that'll look good if I have some water there. Do a little bit of a water line. Maybe we'll put, maybe it'll start, yeah, back here. We'll just pretend it goes like that. And then I'm going to fill this area in. Just like that. We're going to make a road. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. This I can fill in with a little bit more black. Probably have a little bit too much water on my brush. And that's okay. That's okay. It's just going to go on smoother. Hopefully it dries just a touch faster. Because we just want an undertone. So when we're shaping our maps out here, our landscape, we just want undertones so we have shadow colors back there. If we have shadow colors back there, then guess what? When we put on our highlights, it should go on nice, right? Should go on nice. So again, nothing fancy. I mean, you could go put some hills back there, some mountains back there if you want. I think I'm okay with what I got here. So now I'm going to leave just a small narrow spot in there that we're bringing around to where I got to put some brown. Now the question is, was I wise enough to bring brown? You know what? We're going to make a pale brown. Maybe green. Or you know what? Actually, even better. Even better. I have right here a touch of brown. So I'm just going to pour just a touch brown on my plate. There it is. Way too much, of course, because why would I not pour the right amount? You got to overdo it, right? It's just like it's just like Mama when she makes her spaghetti. How can you do just a little bit? It's not possible. You end up doing a whole bunch. Okay, I'm not going to get too fancy with this. I just want a nice, decent little brown color. And I'm just going to pull it here. Just like that. Just like that. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect back there. Does not have to be perfect back there. I'm going to pull this just like that. And we're going to make it look like a bit of a road there in just a second. So technically we can add just like say a little bit of white. And a couple of sides here just to make it look like trails, so to speak. So now you could do it like that, or you could do it with, say, a little bit of black or something like, just to make it look like someone's been traveling this road. Yeah, you could go back in with black. That's totally up to you. Right, just like that. You can do that. Just follow the curvature, though. Just a little bit more black. Just blend it in. I don't want to go too far because I want that to dry, right? Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up my brush really good. Really good. And then with blue, a little bit of teal. So I made a little bit of a tealish color. So I did green, my blue, and a touch of white. And if I don't like that, I might even add a touch of black. But what I want to do is this. I'm going to make myself a little bit of a lake over here. Just a little bit of a lake. Why not, you know? Why not? The best place to drive by is the lake. Get those reflections and all those beautiful colors. And you know, I might have to add a touch of white to that to make it. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Oh man, beautiful blue. Reminds me of like Okanagan over in BC there. You get that nice, beautiful blue. Oh, it looks nice. All right, so now that we're doing good on time. I think we're okay for time. That's great. Okay. I'm going to go to my small brush, clean it out a little bit. I'm just going to shape in a few things. I'm going to take white, a little bit of green, a little more green, and a little bit of brown. Yeah, a little bit of brown, not a whole lot. And what I want to do is I just want to shape in just a few mountains back here. Just makes it look like there's some hiding in the hills over there. Right? Just a few hiding in the hills over there. Maybe I'll pull this together, even though I wasn't planning on painting this together like this, just because I wanted to leave a bit as a gap for in here. I'll go back into that color of black and green, or multiple greens that is. And just maybe pull that last little bit right across that ledge, just like that. Beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful. I like it. Okay, now the next thing I want to do, I mean, you can go in, you can take some browns and you can touch up certain areas and stuff. No, it's too much. Too much. Too much. You can hit some spots with some, a little bit of highlight if you want. It's totally up to you. Totally up to you. Just get creative. I don't want to go too fancy. What I'm going to do over here is I just want to add a couple trees. So I'm going to take my small liner brush. I'm kind of like a liner brush anyway. Tiny little thing. And I'm going to add a little bit of brown and black together. If it works. If it doesn't, then I'm just going straight black, you know? Yep, I think I'm just going straight black on this. Just keep it thin. Keep your brush really thin. Really small, really thin. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some clusters of trees here. Just where I think I want some nice little trees. Right. Push down the further you go. Might have went too high with some of these, but maybe not. We'll see if we can make it work. All right, maybe one over here. Yeah. Now, you can always go the opposite way and push up and out. If you find your paint isn't coming off very good, add a little bit of water to it. Thin it down. And that'll also keep your brush nice and thin so that when you're doing branches, look at that. Very thin, thin paint. It's enough to come off your brush nice. We'll clump some of these together. And we're going to fill these with leaves and whatnot. So it's not imperative that we get crazy. One more, maybe just part of that. Yeah, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of dark green, very dark green, black, and green together just like we did before. Just like we did before. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to, actually, you know what? I'm going to go a little bit thicker brush. We're just going to dab on some areas that we want some shadows. Again, it's just green and black. Oh yeah, these trees are coming together. They're coming together. Just beautiful. There we go, look at that. Maybe some extra little ones over there. Just dabbing it on. The key is just dab it so that when the trees get covered, it doesn't just splat it on there, right? You don't want to just splat it on there. You want to make it look like there's some leaves, so you have to leave some holes behind. Maybe some bushes on the ground. Who knows? All right, so we also want to do the same concept, but maybe just a little bit brighter green. Because now that we have our black back there, right? Yeah, just a little bit. And we're just going to dab some green across there. Could go a bit brighter, but let's see what it says here. All right. All right. Yeah, get those bristles wide. If you find that you're painting and all the bristles and stuff just start clumping together, just wash your brush. Dry it out. Wash your brush and dry it out. And restart. Restart. Clumps of trees. Just look distant stuff over there. Not too bad. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go to the big brush again. Clean it out really good. I always feel I never have enough paper towel. That stuff, that water just soaks through so fast. Actually, I'm gonna do the small brush one more time first because I want to do some highlights on those trees. Do I have yellow? Do I have yellow? Do I have yellow? Psh. Of course I got yellow. Just a little bit. So yellow. Pick a nice green. And here's what we're gonna do. I want the sun hitting from that side. So I'm gonna leave the shadows open on the left side. But I'm gonna fill in a lot of the right side of the trees here. All right? Because the leaves are only gonna get hit from the sun the brightest on the right side. And it just creates a three-dimensional painting. You know? You want it to stand out. We got some really nice colors there, so I like that green. I really like how that turns out, so I'm just gonna keep popping it. Why not? If it looks nice and it works, keep layering it on there. Layer it on there. Fill it up really nice. Right? Look at that. Man, that stands out nice. Right? Stands out nice. Whatever these are, who knows? Not even worried about, am I? No. Just make sure they're there. Okay, so next thing I want to do quickly is I'm going to fill this in with some grass and maybe some flowers, stuff like that, and then we'll fill a little bit of the edge. It's not really a beach. We don't want it to look like a beach. I mean, we can. You could technically cut it off right there with the dark and make that a beach to the lake. Why not? Why not? This is your painting, man. Do whatever you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to that wide brush, the big brush, having the bristles like that, thick. That green that I created before, it's black and green. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start just popping up some. I'll go back over it. I don't, again, if you find the bristles are just pushing down, and when you're pushing on the painting, sorry, that all it's doing is just creating just blobs. Then go back, clean your brush. Go back, clean your brush. Or at least try and dry it off. Start with that, then go back and dab it in and see if that makes it pop anymore. Because we want it to pop. Right? Again, you're leaving black spots in there because you want your shadows, right? You know, this is only part of the painting that I did before, but it's enough that it's a really cool painting. It's just a cool sunset. Nice little storm. Oh, I didn't even do the best part yet. Let's see how much time I got. We're still okay for time. But I almost want to put it in now. I do want to put it in now. I'm cleaning my liner brush because I'm going in. I totally forgot. How can you have a storm without lightning? That's not going to work well. So I got to figure out where I want my lightning to sit. First of all, oh man, we got so many options here. But you know what I have to do? I have to create a space for it. What I mean by that is black, blue, one more time. Maybe here is where I want that to sit. Look at how dark that is. Nice and dark, nice and dark, nice and dark. Right? I want it to sit right there. Right there. We're going to pull that dark right over to that edge. Make it wrap around there. Oh yeah, this is dark. This area is dark. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, okay? Okay, that's okay. So I'm gonna make that lightning sit right on that edge. Let's go back into white and blue. I'm just gonna go, because it's coming down from out of there, okay? Should I do a little bit? Why not? Yeah. Okay. Now all you're doing is just zigging it down. zigging it down. You can put a whole bunch of lightning on. That's totally up to you. We're just zigging it down. Maybe this couple little strikes come off this. Again, if you find it's not coming off as smooth as you want it, just add a little water to it. That should mellow it out a little bit. Yeah, that's better. See? Just like that. We want offsprings off that. And we want a couple little shooters up here. Now I want one or two to stand. These two guys to stand up just a little bit more. So I'm gonna make them just a bit thicker up top. In the distance. Remember, you used to count how far away from the lightning strike to the sound of the crack. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and you figure, it's 100 yards every Mississippi. Probably not even true at all or close to, but I don't know where that came from, but we did that as a kid. All right, I think I'm okay with that. So I'm going to highlight a few areas where I think that lightning is going to reflect off that. Maybe that's why we put that light there. See? We knew what we were doing at the start. We knew exactly what we were doing. It's like we got to see the reflection of the lightning. Can't just have it not shine off everything. Maybe just a little bit more here. Right? There we go. I'm going to go back into that blue just a bit. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Maybe one more strike, little strike, and then we'll move on, finish off this painting here. But the original painting that I have, it actually has a truck in it. And I might show you at the end if I have a moment here. But it has a truck in it. And I had a friend that just absolutely loved it. I don't know if it reminded her of a dream or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but you know, it's pretty cool. And I was like, you know what? It was made for you. It's yours. All right. I'm okay with that right there. Look at that. You had to have lightning in there. You had to have lightning. See, it makes the whole thing. We're going to go back into our paint with the green. Again, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of green. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of green. Let's see if we can make it pop on there. Yeah. I'm just going to use that top edge because see, it's coming off there a little bit better. Now what you do, if you need to, is use a whole bunch of different styles or colors of green and yellow, and you know, some's going to be a little bit darker and some's going to be a little bit lighter. Depends on how that light's hitting it. Depends how the light's hitting it that day. Depends how the light's hitting it. You know, we might even get a little bit funkier here. Let's get funky. Let's get crazy. Look at that. I'm adding some flowers there. Just because I can. See, look at that. I just went into pink, that's it. This is going to be a field of beautiful flowers like that. We'll pick some areas that we want some more. And then we'll go back into the yellow. We're just about done, I think. Yeah, we're getting there. 5 more minutes. We're good. We're rolling. We're rolling. Pick some more places I want a little bit lighter color. A little lighter color. Now I might go in and hit, yeah, a little bit more yellow. Look at that. Oh yeah, that pops. Maybe it's dandelions. Everybody's favorite. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I get a fair amount in my backyard, but here's what I do. I also have bumblebees in my area, and I absolutely love bumblebees. I think they're just one of the coolest animals, most unique. The very fact that they probably shouldn't even be able to fly in the first place because of their body mass compared to the size of their wingspan and stuff like that is just an incredible feat in itself. So, oh man, I think we're looking good here on this. A few more spots with some highlighted pinks. These. And you can get fancy and get all in there and mess up with a whole bunch of things. I'm just going to quickly put a little bit of dark green on the right side there. Black, green, not complicated. And maybe I'm just going to put a little bit of shrubbery down here. Fill it in a little bit more because I'm going to hit it with some highlights. We can come back after with a little bit of brown. That's not an issue. I can go there now even with a little bit of brown. Hey, look at that. Look at that. We'll say it meets back there somewhere. We'll tap it in a minute, maybe with a little bit more. Just like that. That's fine. That's fine. I like it. Okay, we're going to tap in with a little bit more of that yellow. Over here, we're going to hit just a couple spots up here. Just to fill in the areas that we kind of painted over a little bit. Oh, this pink has gone wild. It's gone wild on us. All right. Green, yellow. Touch of white, maybe. Maybe it's a different color over here. Yeah, maybe it's just a lighter color over here. Maybe it's not. Maybe we don't like that. I don't like that. But you know what we can do? Yeah, that's fine. That's not too bad. Now I want to do a little bit of white or gray or something. Maybe white. Maybe that's the best color for it. We just want to put just a little bit of a water line over there. Just so people know what's going on. Just so people know what's going on. Keep it thin. Don't do it all the way across. If you want, you can pull out and, you know, just add a little bit of just something here. Now, what we can do, let's just end it off with, I know, we're going to get crazy quickly. Not a big one. We're not a Bob Ross one here yet. Mr. Bob. We're going to do a little tree over here. I want it just to hit maybe right here. Just that one by the lakeside that just happens to be in the perfect spot. Perfect spot, perfect view. Now I'm just going to put on the basic branches here because I'm going to pull out the little liner brush here. And I'm going to get into that black quickly. And then we'll see if we can get some small branches off there. Yep. Nothing like a big old tree. You're going to find if you go off towards the end that it's going to shoot off there and have some nice sharp little edges. Now I'm going to quickly do, just a couple minutes here. I'm going to pop on a little bit of that black and green again. A little bit of that black and green. We're just going to fill in a few areas. I already want some leaves to sit and hide. Oh yeah, I like that. Oh yeah, look at that. Simple, look how simple that is. We didn't do hardly anything, right? Or did we? I need just a little more yellow to make it finally pop. We're gonna end with this, I think. This is where it's at, I think, right here. Green and yellow together. We're gonna figure some areas out here that just pop. Right side, I want that sun on that side, right? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Didn't fill it all in. Perfect. Maybe just a touch more to fill just a little bit of that gap. Just a little bit more. Good. And I think we will have ourselves a painting. I'm okay with that. You can add just a tiny bit. We'll do shadows on the right side. A little bit of brown, a little bit of white. Or highlights. Highlights over here, not shadows. My apologies. My apologies. A little bit of brown, a little bit of white. And then you can go in one more time with just a little bit more lighter on that very, very edge. Nothing else. And then we'll call it a painting. Oh yeah, we gotta add just a hint of, gotta add some grass there, right? All right, I think that's a good one. We're gonna throw in the old DW on there, and we'll call it a day. All right. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you get to paint this one with me. And again, if you do, don't be afraid to send it into Access and let them know what it's all about. And thank you again. And have a wonderful day, and God bless. I'm just going to touch up just while we're going out with a little bit of yellow and green. Just a little bit of that. Yeah, look at that. That's the color we wanted over there. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Bye for now. Have a great one.